It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2022 Thanksgiving edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. On The Local Show, we have conversations about local business with business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, civic organizations, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We talk about how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. Now you'll hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Welcome in, Steve Roberts. How are you there, buddy?
Tryptophan, Tom.
Yeah, you're all tryptophaned out.
Tryptophan, Tom. Tryptophan.
I think you had to look the word up.
I did. There's no question. And everyone knows I couldn't spell it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's all good. You know, paying $65 a pound for turkey is a great thing. Judy bought a turkey. She bought another one. We do Mom's house and everything now, and there's less people. But she bought a little turkey, which is in the freezer, and I'm going to probably cook it up this weekend.
Very good.
And because if you don't overcook it, turkey's amazing. If you overcook it, it's like eating a tissue box.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people like leftover turkey. I'm not a big leftover turkey fan. Isn't that something? I like it when it's hot and I can put some gravy on it and all that, but I don't let past that.
The whole thing when someone goes, pass the gravy, please. You know it was a little dry, so get a little more gravy. But it's a good thing. Are you a cranberry guy?
No, I'm not a cranberry person.
Stuffing?
Stuffing I like, but I don't eat a lot of it. I try to stick with a lot of the vegetables. Actually, somebody had taught me try and eat as many vegetable items as you can first, then the proteins, and then stop.
That person died of heart failure, but that's okay. They're not around.
gotta eat all the vegetables.
No, I was at my doctor this week, and they had the vegetable conversation.
Yes, to eat more, right?
To eat more vegetables, and which I do. I eat too much red meat, right? But I like fish and I like chicken, but I really don't. I no longer always have to have a potato or a rice.
That's the stuff that
and that's so
be bad for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've kind of, and she says, just eat more vegetables. And I do. There's not I like 95% of the vegetables.
And I like to be temperate and even. In other words, not to overeat.
In food, not in life.
Not in life. No. Hey, we've got a great show for you, folks. Stick around on this Local Show. We're going to talk with Joe Scrippa. He's the owner of the Scrippa Group. And then Nicole McQuaid will stop by. She's the HR manager over there at Clinton's Ditch. Jeff Zarnowski is the orchardist at Z's Nutty Ridge Farms. And then John Kupperman will talk to us about housewares and all those restaurant supplies because he owns Smith's. Then Jim Green, otherwise known as Charles Dickens, will talk to us. He's doing that Dickens of a Christmas up there in Skinny Atlas. Kevin Frank, director of Brady Market and Brady Faith Center, will stop by. David Lewis, owner of Interstate Batteries of Central New York, will talk with him. And then Michael Johnson is the owner of Pro Snow Removal, and you can catch him at goprosnow.com. He'll be rounding us out today. Right now, we say hello to Joe Scrippa. How are you there, Joe?
Great, Tom. Yourself?
Very good, my friend. Old neighbor of mine.
Joe's resting face doesn't smile, Tom. his resting face looks like he's angry at everybody.
And I got to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever smiled so much sitting next to you because,
it's like sitting next to
you.
It's like being in kindergarten again, isn't it?
And my rested face can't take all this. I'm going to be sore later.
Yeah, Joe's got the perfect Italian mob face. Where
it's true. That's my point.
You don't have to say anything. You can just sit. My grandfather had that.
He's got a 5 o'clock shadow. He shaved twice today already.
I was afraid of my grandfather when he didn't even speak. Had to be way. But anyway, he's a very congenial person, and you've been in the real estate business for a long time, haven't you?
Quite a long time, nearing 25 years.
Very nice.
Yes.
Tell us about your company a little bit. What do you specialize in? What do you do?
We specialize in commercial real estate brokerage and property management. We do also do residential sales, but my primary is commercial brokerage, leasing, and management.
Yeah, Joe's got those big signs. You ever see, that's how I knew Joe before I met him.
Right.
I was like, it's Scrippa.
I saw the huge, when I met him, he appeared really tiny compared to the signs that he had.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about the next big sign we put up. It's going to be at 6800 East Genesee Street, which is directly across from the Wegmans in DeWitt.
Yeah.
Is that place crowded over there? They have a lot of traffic over there?
Place,
Well, about 50,000 cars a day, but I think all 50,000 of them were in Wegmans parking lot yesterday.
Oh my!
As I stood up in the building, looking across the street.
That's true. The whole if you're old like Tom, that's the Track and Racket Club.
The
from
old Track
way
and
back in
Racket
the
Club.
day.
That's right. Today it houses a few tenants: Coldwell Banker, real estate, residential real estate, Revitalized CNY, Dr. I think Shinta, and we're right now. We had the meeting on Monday, officially took over the property and the marketing of the property, and by Tuesday, we were already engaged with 3 potential tenants. I mean, it is.
So who should be in that building? So it's how big's the building?
It's 40,000 square feet.
It's a big building. So how
40,000
many
square feet.
pieces do you put that into and still have parking and all those things that people are concerned about?
We've got generous parking, parking for at least 150 cars, maybe a little bit more.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize the parking
lot
lot was that
actually
big.
expand the parking a little bit. It'll undergo a full redevelopment interior. The new ownership is Southern Hills Management, and they're quite an eclectic group. It's multi-generation, from senior guys that have been in real estate development their whole life to accountants and bankers are the development.
So why did they have all these miles? Why you? I mean, they could have signed that thing with anybody in the world, right?
Well, because I'll get it filled.
Okay, so that's your job. I was just going to ask what your function was, because it sounds like they know how to renovate and do all that
that's
stuff.
where I was
right?
going.
Well, they do know how to renovate, but there's a difference when it comes to both filling, bringing in the right income, attracting the right tenants. So you asked who's the tenant? Legal.
Right.
We've got actually a few different legal organizations, not all from Syracuse either, looking at it already. Mm-hmm. Medical, any type of medical use would be great in there. There's a whole floor, 20,000 square feet, second story, wide open, will eventually be full of windows when the renovation happens. It'll be full of windows facing Wegmans.
Sure. Yeah.
And right at the traffic signal. So people
my goodness.
sitting right at the light looking at you.
Is there a better piece of property on the east side of town?
I don't think so.
I'm just thinking because
honestly, I don't think
Everybody knows
so.
Wegmans.
Why did it go through so many tenants, do you think?
Well, I think over the years, it just never had the previous ownership wasn't in development mode. This group came together to develop and redevelop.
Modernize it, make it appealing to people to stay.
Yes.
I get you.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you do, right?
Yes.
All the way around. So we can't have a conversation about real estate without talking about the positive and negative impacts of Micron coming. What do you think now that things have unpacked a little more?
I love the concept. I love the idea. I'm a realist. Mm-hmm. I think I was very, very excited, maybe too exuberant at the announcement. I think right now it's really a sit and wait, be realistic, and your property value did not just double and triple just because
right. Just because of the mention of it.
Yeah. We've got a couple years till that starts to happen and proves that it's going to happen. Remember, phase 1 is just phase 1. It doesn't mean, maybe phase 1's 2,000 people or 1,000 people or, 3,000 people.
Will it just impact the Cicero area, or will it impact all of Syracuse, in your opinion?
The first phase, I think, will be primarily the northern burbs, but, it'll impact downtown because you'll have younger people that like the urban setting, the urban nightlife.
Right. And briefly, I know we were talking earlier this week about property management, which I know you do with commercial properties.
Yes.
So, and that means everything from snow to grass, or is that deeper than that?
It's finances, it's income related, it's making sure your property's performing properly.
Okay. So the Scrippa, it's actually scrippagroup.com.
Yes.
And you're the Scrippa of the group, and I know you have a team over there.
There's a few of us.
I know there are. So questions at 452-1200.
Yes.
452-1200. Scrippagroup.com, Joe Scrippa.
Thanks, Joe. Have a great rest of the day, okay? All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Nicole McQuaid. She's the HR manager at Clinton's Ditch, the Pepsi place, right here on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it and back at it again. Welcome to The Local Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. We certainly appreciate you hanging out with us. And speaking of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal, why don't you tell us a little bit about Gettys Federal? Because there's a lot going on, Steve, in terms of people borrowing off their homes. Now, they say you shouldn't borrow too much off the home, because that, like, I don't know, feeds inflation or something.
I don't know that I'd be too concerned about inflation if I'm trying to take care of my house.
Yeah, right. Just your own.
I'm not like, I was going to borrow that extra $2,000 to finish the kitchen, but I don't want to drive the national debt up. I don't think that's the problem.
You could get a mortgage, though, and get a new home.
And Gettys, I mean, they take certificates of deposits and money markets from folks that are trying to maybe not want to risk the market right now.
Right.
And then what do? They turn around it and loan it to someone that buys a house or someone that needs a home equity loan. Yes,
yeah.
It's very...
George Bailey.
Thanks, the guy. I was trying. It's very George Bailey. What's the line from the movie, Tom?
Yeah.
Your house is in his.
Yeah, your house is in his house. And
and it is. And it really is genuinely that way.
Right.
And you do walk in and talk to people you know. You're not, this far away mystery place. So, hey, maybe you want to redo the basement, the kitchen. Great time to do it. Houses are still selling. People are getting mortgages.
Absolutely.
They have that whole
we talked about the adjustable arm that might work.
I learned something on that.
That works for 10 years or so.
If you're going to stay in your house for 7 or 10 years, you don't have to lock into a higher rate. Get into a lower rate.
Exactly.
So GettysFederalSavingsAndLoan.com, Tom.
There we go. Now it's time to talk to Nicole McQuaid. She's the HR manager at Clinton's Ditch, otherwise known as the Pepsi place. How are you, Nicole?
Good, guys. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a little while.
Yes, I know. I've been sending everybody else in to talk to you guys.
Tom said he likes them better.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I have that effect on people.
You're very busy up there. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you came from before you went to the Pepsi place.
So I came from the automotive industry. I worked over at Associated Spring, which was over in Lakeland.
Oh, okay.
Went over to Clinton's Ditch like in 2015. Started off as an HR generalist, and then got the job once the HR manager retired.
So do you have people who are HR related to work under you now?
Yes, I have 2. So
okay.
I have a HR coordinator and an HR generalist.
She's a big shot, Tom.
She's
got people. You just see it when you walk through the plant. When they see her, the people, they actually bow down because they want to be nice. Isn't that true?
Maybe to trip me.
You know what they do?
You don't call them minions, do you?
No.
Okay, because Steve
Great
calls
movie.
us minions, though.
Oh, you are a minion.
Yes, we are.
I love the Minions. This is a great movie. It's an absolutely great movie.
When he calls a meeting, he says, "Minions assemble."
So is he going as Gru next Halloween?
That's it.
So I imagine you're hiring.
Yes, like everybody else in town.
Oh,
good news is we start at $23 an hour for entry level. Out on the plant floor, we're looking for third and second shift.
So hang on. So $23 an hour. What experience does someone need?
They just need a good worth ethic, not really a lot of experience. That whole you need to show up every day is really imperative. But if you can show up every day and have a good attitude, you will not have a problem.
So someone maybe that's working in not making that much income, or tell me about benefits too.
Benefits on day one is a stellar Excellus Blue Cross and Blue Shield plan.
So on day one, $23 and change, or 23, whatever the heck it is, and do people make it? I mean, is the bar so high that if you're not like the top 5%, if you're not the person that's running and working really hard, that you say, you know what, thanks, but no thanks? I mean, are people that get through the process, do they stay and work there a long time?
Yeah, most of the time, yes. I mean, because we're hiring so much, we have people that do fall out, but it's the people that can't show up. So for the most part, if you can show up every day and just have a good attitude and want to work, you won't have a problem. And it's very entry level. It's mopping, sweeping, cleaning, pulling trash. You may get put on a machine, but it's a lot of like food safety, cleaning, and stuff like that.
What's the culture like?
We're going through a transition. It's a good place to work. We've had a lot of people that have been there for 40 years and they're retiring. We have a bunch of new people. So it's kind of this like balanced out of the old versus the new. So it's good though. We have a totally different management style that used to be there. So that's always positive. But yeah, it's a great place to work.
Okay.
Tell me about the lunch breaks. Do you get a lunch?
Yeah, New York State says you have to have a lunch. So yes, people get lunch breaks.
Do you get a Coke?
What do you think you're doing? Just grabbing a delicious bottle of Pepsi, man. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, come on. Come on. No Cokes. We have Pepsi, though.
What do you make there? Tell us what you do make.
So we make all things
Pepsi.
Yeah, we make all things Pepsi. So anything you see in your grocery aisle, odds are we made out in Cicero. We put it in bottles, cans, and we also have a co-pack business. We make over 27 million cases of soda a year.
What is co-pack?
So co-pack is not a Pepsi product. So it's like Q Drinks, Reed's Ginger Ale, which is this hipster ginger ale that's up and coming. We make that all right out in Cicero.
How about Buble?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yes, we make that. We make lots of
bubbly.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, we make lots of that.
So, Tom, when I was in Mexico, a Pepsi truck drove by.
In Mexico?
In Mexico, in the country. And I thought, of course, I took a picture of it because it looked like the truck wasn't just born yesterday, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And of course I thought about Pepsi is this worldwide, they're one of the biggest products in the entire world. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it's super exciting to go to work every day. It has that kind of Willy Wonka chocolate factory vibe to it, right? Because it's so unique. We blend the soda there, and then we put it in either a bottle or a can. And we blow our own bottles, too. So the 2-liter bottles you see in the store, we blow them at the ditch.
So you have a bunch of people sitting there going...
Yes, we hired you, Steve.
How do you make a bottle?
So it's a preform, and you put it in a blow mold machine, and it just takes the hot air and it blows it. And then we have these air veyors that take it through the whole factory to the filler, and then the filler fills it, and we put a cap on it.
Pretty incredible. And I would imagine that if some of the entry-level jobs are in that $23 an hour category, that the jobs only go up from there.
Correct.
For money, right?
Correct. So
do you make more than that? I'm sorry.
So as you go through the process, right, and
What are you looking for, a date?
So as you go through the process and you become more trained on the machines and comfortable, you can bid on jobs because we're a union environment. So it goes by seniority, but you can bid on the jobs. You can drive a forklift. You can become a loader. You can just, be a machine operator. You can go in the blending room, maintenance, whatever your heart desires.
Does someone have to start at the entry level? Like, say they're an experienced, some kind of a technician. Are all the jobs go through that way?
So, no, if you're maintenance, no. We'll hire maintenance mechanics, and we are looking for maintenance mechanics on second and third shift. We'll hire them right off the street, but everything else, you have to start off at general help, and then you bid through the union process on a job.
Now, does that usually take a long time, or could you get up there in a year or two?
It just depends on the movement in the plant. Like if we bid an extra line, which we kind of do a lot, it just depends on our volume.
Well, you got plans up there. That place isn't getting any smaller.
No, it is not. But we're not ready to talk about that.
Yeah, but there's vision for the next level.
For sure.
Yeah,
right?
that's
And whatnot. So now talk to me about the fleet, because you and I were speaking earlier this week about fixing the trucks, and you need help in that space too?
Yeah, so we have our own transportation department. They carry our soda up and down the East Coast. And we are looking for fleet mechanics, diesel mechanics for third shift. So they make us go. If we don't have mechanics, the trucks can't go on the road.
And I imagine that's a pretty well-paying job. You could have a family on that.
Yes,
probably.
Correct. And we just struggle because people don't want to work third shift, right? It's
what is third shift exactly?
So it's 11 to 7 for Steve's guys. So they're a little bit different than
11 at night.
Yeah, 11 at night to 7 in the morning. And we can have some flexibility on that. But we are in desperate need of diesel mechanics.
People shift. Nate, my son in the Air Force in Idaho, he's working third shift. He says, you know what? I have a lot of my day. And he's actually, he's accommodating. He's actually liking it. There are people like it.
Yeah, there are people
peaceful.
that well, and in the work-life balance, right? If you have kids, you are home when they go to bed, and then you get home when they're getting on the bus.
Yeah, well, that's pretty nice. Good job.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's Nicole McQuaid, HR manager at Clinton's Ditch. You can see all their jobs at thepepsiplace.com. Thepepsiplace.com. Get a life and enjoy yourself while you're working. Okay. Thank you, Nicole.
Yep. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Next up, we're going to talk with Jeff Zarnowski. He's an orchardist at Z's Nutty Ridge Farm. I don't know.
I do.
It's like where Steve was raised over at Nutty Ridge. Stick around right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're in full holiday mode here at The Local Show. It's hard to believe that we're in it's really just weeks now before Christmas.
I know.
You know?
Remember when
It's
your
like-
family, your parents would be like, time goes faster when you get older.
Yeah, I do
And we were
remember
like,
that.
yeah, right, Mom, Dad, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, never knew that till now.
Right?
It really does. It's like lickety split.
Yeah, and then, COVID just expunged 2 years from everybody's life. And boom, they're 2 years. What year is it? That's 2020. Wait a minute. We were, and then,
And some people who know me know that I had a late in life baby. So he's now 16 years old. Well, he'll be 16 in December.
Nicholas, he's awesome.
And-
I love your son.
Well, kids are nice when taken in moderation.
No, he's a good kid.
So Nicholas is seeing it from a younger perspective, right? Because I haven't had a young kid in a while. I'm jealous because, he can just be lazy and enjoy himself, watch his TikToks, and he's got nothing to worry about. He's not concerned about holidays and money. And
What were you doing at that
all
age?
those- Well, I was working and
Yeah,
bringing
me too.
all my
I'm just
money home.
saying. Right? Me too.
I had a post standard route, and I would have to wake up at 4 a.m. So
and then you were slinging batteries at Radio Shack.
Yes,
right?
right. I was working at Radio Shack at 16. So, yeah, just a little different of a
I remember
generation.
Black Friday at Service Merchandise.
Oh, it had to be crazy, right?
Okay, so we would work. I would work a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
At 16 years old. I don't think you can do that anymore. And it was just like the door would open and you just
People
that's what
would
you did.
be
You know what?
bored.
It was kind of fun.
Was Service Merchandise there before Pencan Mall was built?
They were
or
there.
were they simultaneous?
They were simultaneous. So
Okay,
there was
yeah.
Marketplace Mall and there's Pencan Mall.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Well, it's our pleasure right now to talk with Jeff Zarnowski. He hasn't been on in a while. He's an orchardist at Z's Nutty Ridge Farms, right? Or Nutty Ridge Place.
Z with a Z, Tom.
Z's Nutty Ridge Orchard, but
Okay, there we go. It's an orchard.
and nursery.
Oh, well, you got to unpack it for everybody, Jeff. Tell us first, what did you do before you got into nuts? And then what do you do at Z's Nutty Ridge?
Yeah.
Well, before we started dedicating our time growing trees, we were an electrical engineer. Yeah.
Well, I see the connection. Not at all.
Can't help yourself.
And actually, we used to design imagers, the kind of things that are in your phone, you color matching at a paint store.
Really?
Barcode reading at a checkout counter when they read the barcodes. Dental x-ray imaging, you put a little lollipop
I
in
can
your
see the
mouth.
parallels to nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And so, are you an electrical engineer? Is that what
Yes.
your background? Where'd you go to college for that?
Actually, SUNY Binghamton.
Oh, that's a really high-end school.
For New York State, it is very high end.
Yeah, great. Good job, buddy. So you're actually pretty intelligent. Okay, we get that.
So when did you say nuts? I don't want to do that anymore. And this the nut thing happened.
Well, my wife and I built a house down in Cortland
Yes.
on a hilltop overlooking the valley, and we saw how all the fields were going fallow, just returning back to nature. And I thought, 150 years ago, people were using dynamite and hand saws to cut down trees and blowing up the roots just so they could plow and grow crops. And it was all going back to being wild again. I thought, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Nature wants to grow trees. Let's figure out what trees we can grow and produce food for us.
I see.
So that's when we said, all right, we planted thousands of trees my wife put up with me.
All nut trees?
All nut trees.
You can get a little closer to that, Mike. All nut trees.
All nut trees.
So no tomatoes, no zucchinis. You just thought nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah, when was this?
This was back in 1992.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Back when things made sense.
So fast forward to 30 years later,
Yeah, golly.
we are now propagating cultivars of hazelnuts, chestnuts, and we have walnuts for sale as well.
Wow. And just so folks know, of course, you're listening to us on WSYR and the stream on the iHeartRadio app.
Nuts.
But, Zoe Advertising has a very robust YouTube channel. So those of you who are fortunate enough to know how to work YouTube, which is pretty simple, you can go on there and see all the nuts from Z's Nutty Ridge.
Yeah, go to Zoe Smash and like and all those kinds of things.
like the page, follow it.
Yeah. So is this what I would call an acorn?
It kind of looks like the bottom half of an acorn, but it is a hazelnut.
That's a hazelnut, man.
Okay, well, I'm learning.
Yeah,
Tom.
come on.
So, okay, there
Grind
you go,
it
Tom.
up, put it in your coffee.
There you go, Tom.
Yeah, whoa, hey, you're nuts.
there, you can catch it, Tom.
There we go, got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
look at
I want to. Can Tom grow a nut tree in his yard in Cicero?
Absolutely.
Why would he want to?
Well, hazelnuts are actually a small tree. They're like a lilac bush.
Oh,
so
really?
you
I
can
didn't
plant two
know
of
that.
them and no problem. They would only grow like 12 feet tall in 25 years. So you can easily pick the nuts too because their branches are flexible. You can just bend the branches down, pick the nuts.
So how long does it take to grow nuts?
So if you grow from a seedling, it takes about 5 years. If you grow from a cultivar, which is a clone of the superior parent tree, about 2 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to tell my kids that I'm they're like cultivars, right? Because I was the superior tree, and they were cut for me.
Tom, I think Kelly was the superior tree.
Well, that's true too. Yeah. You got a point there. So people can have nuts within a couple of years. Do you tell people, like, if they come up? Tell people is a wrong way I want to phrase
Educate
it.
people, Tom.
Educate people. That's it. Do you educate people on what to do with the nuts? Like give them recipes? Like because I would like to take the hazelnuts and make Ferrero Rocher candies with it, or put it in my coffee.
Roast
but I
them
don't know
over
how
an
to
open
do
fire
it.
this time
Yeah.
of
Do
year?
you roast them? What do you do?
So now you bring up another subject. Now that we have a lot of people growing trees, nut trees, we've created a cooperative, a farmers cooperative called New York Tree Crops Alliance. We've been awarded a fair amount of money to set up a nut processing center so we could do just that. So anybody that grows nuts, they'll bring them to the processing center. We will do value added, sell them under the Nika name, and then we give all the profits back to the grower.
So is this like commercial, or is this Tom growing them in his yard, or is it both?
It can be both. My attitude is we need more nut trees, period. If you're going to plant a tree, you might as well plant a tree that's good for you and the environment.
Right.
Why just plant a tree and look at it?
Unless, of course, you have a nut allergy. Then you can be viewed differently.
There you go. So what are the benefits? So, there's nut trees.
Right. So there are very many articles out on the health benefits of nut trees. A person who eats 3 servings of nuts a week, 20% less chance of all deaths.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that funny?
So you're getting in car accidents? I mean, all deaths.
Well, that one they can't protect.
Okay,
you.
all right. I just
But
didn't know.
health-related, issues.
Yeah, and I carry nuts with me all the time. They're in my knapsack right back here.
I
right
let
now.
that one go.
Yeah, right. but I do have them, and even with the diverticulitis, they say it's really a fallacy to believe that the nuts are causing it. They said as long as you have the high fibrous diet and you do eat nuts, that's actually good for your colon, for everything. So yeah, the health benefits are
So what
huge.
are the health benefits? What am I getting when I eat nuts?
So cardiovascular, you tend to have lower blood pressure. Your arteries and veins are much more flexible, which is one of the reasons where you can get a lot of ill health benefits as you get older, as your veins and arteries stiffen up.
Right.
Mental clarity. Less mental
get Tom
decline.
some nuts.
Yeah, give him another plant of nuts,
Give
would
him
you?
some nuts. Now, are they fatty? I always think like
Well,
eat
yeah,
nuts.
but it's good fats. It's
Yes.
good fats and oils.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The old
Omega-3s and are in there.
yeah, the old diet of low fat, high starch diet, that's out the window now.
Right.
You need good healthy oils.
Yeah.
We've been eating a lot of seed oils, which we're not used to as a
Right.
species.
Yeah, because we're not birds.
Right.
Is it protein?
Oh yeah, a lot of protein.
a lot of
in
protein
these.
in there, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of protein. It's mainly
Protein,
proteins and
fiber.
oils and minerals.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny how the old school people. Of course, I was Italian, but
You still are,
I still
Tom.
am. I come from an Italian family, is what I meant to say.
Oh, okay.
But like any old world people, even if you're from Poland or wherever you're from, right? The old school generation always had nuts in the house. So my grandmother had just what you pulled out right there. Always had a bowl of nuts with the nutcrackers.
German grandparents, same.
Yeah, exactly.
And I never was quite sure what to do.
Right.
There was always a nutcracker there, and I don't know, can I? And then I tried to eat one, and it wasn't like it needed something.
The walnuts are great, everything.
So if someone wants to plant nut trees, if they are interested, the letter Z, nutty.com, all the information is there, and they can say and connect with you on there and ask questions. But people can grow nut trees. It only takes a year or two, and they can do it right here in Syracuse.
Absolutely.
And he's got a book, and Jeff, you got a book and everything.
Look at that.
Teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We got all that going on.
Written by an engineer, Tom.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll have you on again, okay?
Thank you much.
Hey, thank you so much. Okay, just in time for the holidays right there. Jeff Zarnowski, orchardist at Z's Nutty Ridge, and that's znutty.com. John Kupperman's coming up next, owner of Smith's Housewares and Restaurant Supply, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is The Local Show. Thank you for finding us. It's Tom and Steve. Tom from, I'm Tom Soccocio Jr.
Where are you from, Tom?
From Zoe Advertising, creative director over here. And Steve is the owner of Zoe Advertising. And we are also on YouTube. So check out the YouTube channel. Just look up Zoe Advertising.
And about every day we add a subscription or two.
Yeah.
It's climbing up there. And but you can see what happens here. You can see the people we're interviewing.
Yes.
You know, you can hear them and get to know them a little better. And maybe someday even do business with them.
Right. Well, that's true. And you can see the studios. It's kind of cool to watch it all unfold. And you can, it's like we're television stars without the star.
Yeah, there's no stars. And there's no star faces here. But if you go, you can see me. I threw that nut at you the last set. You can see
right.
that.
You can see the nut being thrown.
Nut flying through the air.
Very nice. Yeah, that's good stuff. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk with John Kupperman. He's the owner of Smith's Housewares and Restaurant Supply, smithsrestaurantsupply.com. Over there now in East. It's East.
Today, Junior?
Erie Boulevard.
The East thing. Yeah, so it's over there.
Isn't that funny?
Well, now it's 3 years. How long have you been over there?
Almost 3. March will be 3 years.
I was going to say, I know it's been a while, across from Texas Roadhouse.
Correct.
And not where the beautiful building that says Smith's Restaurant Supply
right.
downtown with a paint job. Not there, just to be clear.
Not there. Not there.
And I know
not downtown.
There's no confusion.
No, none.
But actually, your place is bigger than that place, isn't it?
Actually, in DeWitt, we've got 6,000 plus square feet, and downtown we were a little bit shy of that on the first floor. Didn't have we had the second floor. But,
right.
But
and it's been generations. You've been involved since you were a little boy, right?
I started working when I was 9, officially.
Oh, golly.
Doing, I put labels on the mailers. Back then
nice.
when
you mailed things.
Yeah.
Did they do more industrial stuff back then or restaurant related, or was it always to consumer?
No. When I was growing up, it was only to the trade.
Oh, okay. So
and
that's
we
where
actually,
started.
excuse me, we used to repair equipment too, way back when.
Okay.
And then into the 70s and 80s, my grandfather decided that we were going to start selling kitchen products to homeowners, and he morphed half of the business in that direction.
Did anybody did the restaurateurs, did that bother them? Or did they feel like, we're not exclusive, now you're selling to consumers? Was there any of that?
Yeah, there was some of that actually. There was initially there was some confusion. Are we a household kitchen supply?
Right,
are we a commercial kitchen supply? And I still encounter that to this day. Are we open to the public? Yes, we're open to the public. But we legitimately do both. We have products for commercial operators and for home operators.
Yeah.
So you sell what, like 18,000 products? Go ahead and list them.
Sure. Starting with
pizza pans, big pizza pans, pie tins, pie
And that list grows.
Yeah.
I mean, it just continues to grow. I think we're closer to 20,000.
Oh my gosh.
now.
I was,
Yeah.
Now, being of Italian descent, my grandmother and mother, they would shop there all the time, almost exclusively. That anytime they needed any type of kitchen supply, it was we're going over to Smith's.
I just the other day, I had a third generation coffee customer come in.
That's something.
Her grandfather, her father, her uncle, and now she and her new fiance are coming in for coffee. And I was like, my gosh, I got 3 generations of family buying coffee now.
Well, you have the Hyman Smith coffee over there that you roast, correct?
Sure do.
yeah, just in case someone was hiding under a rock for the last few years when we've talked about coffee on the air, talk about coffee. Because somebody might go, Smith's Restaurant supply coffee?
Yeah, we have been roasting coffee now about 35, 36 years. We were the first independent gourmet coffee roaster on the entire East Coast. It had just started on the West Coast, and my father honed in on this concept, and he thought it would just be a great addition to the store. And frankly, he nailed it. I mean, it's been successful for all this time, and we offer a great product, and actually at a very fair price these days, because I haven't raised our prices
Right.
at all.
Yeah, vis-a-vis the pandemic,
Right, coffee went up.
Price raising.
Coffee went way up. Just like it went increased far more than average products.
Right.
But
So are you a coffee snob?
absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
But this is coffee for real people. I don't want people to get the wrong idea that it's like this, names you can't pronounce or something like that.
This is not an elite
right.
thing. No, this is really, really good coffee for anybody.
People who enjoy
I'm drinking your
coffee.
coffee right now, by the way.
There's only one coffee you should be drinking.
And it is good coffee. So what should people put in their coffee, John?
Nothing.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
You set me up for that. Nothing.
So they can taste the coffee.
That's right.
For the longest time, you didn't have your tasting. Was it the whole COVID or the moving and the plumbing or something? But you can taste it, right?
Now we have pots out to sample every day, and you can come in and have a free cup of coffee, and we're doing that. And we mix it up.
Yeah.
And it allows us to, if somebody comes in, we offer like 50 different types of coffee. And people will often look for advice. And so we can say, well, try this and comment on that. Is it light? Is it dark? Is it too fruity? Is it too nutty? What
Right.
do you like or not like about it? And then we can direct them to what they want.
Very nice.
So, but when you weren't sampling, you didn't have that tool.
Yeah, right.
It tastes really good. I promise.
I can tell you, it's wonderful, but it's hard. It's very hard to describe taste.
Well, yeah, and it's so subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's like some people just know they don't like Steve, and those are people with good taste.
It's an acquired taste.
He's an acquired taste,
Fair.
correct?
Okay. So do people give coffee for holiday gifts?
Absolutely. We just transitioned from, buying coffee for Thanksgiving, and now people will gift it. And then, when you get closer to Christmas and New Year's, not everybody's, drinking alcohol. Or they've had their alcohol and then they want a good cup of coffee.
They need coffee.
So they transition there as well. But yes, we will sell by the pound. We'll kind of wrap it up for you.
Very nice.
And
good for a gift. But also a
great
Smith's
stocking
restaurant
stuffer too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you have so many other products, and this is kind of your season because people are baking, and people are cooking, so you can get your knives sharpened and also maybe a whole new knife set.
That's correct. So if you had a disaster slicing your turkey.
I mean, the opportunity to manage an entire unit, in a way, it's kind of like...
Right. You can come in and get them sharpened.
Yeah.
We'll sharpen them. Or we obviously sell knives.
Yeah, excellent. And you also have what other products that are big sellers during the baking season?
Actually, cutlery, knives is a big category, but all things having to do with bakeware, loaf pans, roast pans. Obviously, we just came through Thanksgiving, so can't tell you how many roast pans.
Are bread machines still a thing?
Not so
Remember
much.
back in the day, everybody had a bread machine?
Make
no,
bread.
people have really transitioned to making their own sourdough mix, and they're doing it by hand.
Okay.
They're actually mixing it by hand, not even putting it in the mixer.
I go to Columbus. Yeah, well,
He was one of your people,
give me
Tom.
5 loaves of Columbus.
Was he one of your
bread.
people?
No,
he
they're
was
Greek. They're
I
actually
was gonna-
Greek.
They're Greek, right?
Interesting.
Can't argue against that.
But also, do you sell mixers?
Not, we don't do so. We have them.
Okay.
But, in the world of Amazon and consumer
right,
electrics,
yeah.
things with cords are tough.
Yeah.
But yes, we offer everything.
Potato mashers, mashed potatoes.
About 20 different types. Anything from, 2 foot tall to, household units.
You had me at knife sharpening.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a big deal.
Can't tell you how many knives we've sharpened. Leading into Thanksgiving. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of knives.
So go there, get your knife sharpened, Tom.
Yes.
Have some coffee.
Right.
No cream and sugar because
One
you get
quick
thrown
thing.
out by him.
If you bring in your knives, please wrap them up.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
I had a woman come in the store the other day, baby in one arm and half a dozen knives in the other.
People are out of their minds.
And I'm looking at her and I stopped her right in the door. I was like, stop. And she goes like, what? I go, the baby? The knives?
What could go wrong?
Right. Yeah, don't wield your knife when you come in the store. Well, thank you so much, John Kupperman, right there, owner of Smith's Housewares and Restaurant Supply, smithsrestaurantsupply.com. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right. Hour number 2 of the local show is coming right up. We're going to have a conversation with Charles Dickens himself, and he'll talk about a Dickens Christmas. And then Kevin Frank, director of the Brady Market and Brady Faith Center. David Lewis is the owner of Interstate Batteries. And then Michael Johnson, owner of Pro Snow Removal, all in hour number 2. It's coming right up. Stick around.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of The Local Show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Jim Green or Charles Dickens, producer, director of A Dickens Christmas in Skaneateles. And then Kevin Frank, director of Brady Market, will stop by in Brady Faith Center. David Lewis, owner of Interstate Batteries of Central New York. And then Michael Johnson wraps us up, owner of Pro Snow Removal, all here in hour number 2. We are broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And Steve, there was something I was going to mention to you too. Oh yes, YouTube. You can see Steve on
You can see
YouTube.
Tom. You can see everybody.
Everything. We pull the curtain back.
You can see Charles Dickens.
And-
I was
and
going to say,
Charles
can you
Dickens.
see me? I can hear you. I'm right here.
Yeah,
We'll talk as if he's not here.
Yeah, we'll do what you do like when you ignore me.
Right. It's fun. I saw a, what was it, the Yellow Brick Road, what do you call that thing? The Wizard of Oz. So that was on most recently, and it's funny when you don't watch that for a long period of time, and then you watch, you see what great actors they were. And the whole scene where they, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Love it.
That was a real scene. We all quote that, but, that was kind of a cool thing.
Oh, it was amazing.
really funny.
I think L. Frank Baum was a hack.
Who invited him?
Right. So,
Tom, you better introduce this guy. He's an actor. We're not going to be able to shut him up, so might as well introduce him.
Wonderful. It's always a pleasure to have Jim Green on. And Jim Green is Charles Dickens, and he's a producer-director of A Dickens Christmas out there in Skaneateles. How are you, sir?
I am very well. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me today.
Yeah, I saw you out in the lobby. You scared the Dickens out of me.
I see what you did there. That was good.
I called security.
Yes, right, yeah. Right.
So tell us a little bit about you and how you became Charles Dickens. And
Well, it's an interesting story.
We'll determine that.
I was born a poor black child.
Hey, it's a Steve Martin
That's
quote.
Steve Martin. Yeah. Right. Now, actually, it's interesting. I have always been a ham bone, and always, I didn't ever know that you could make a living performing without being a big star in the movies or on Broadway or something. And I kind of accidentally fell into Renaissance festivals, and I performed there for years and realized that, this is great, and I could do that. And I'm relatively good at this kind of stuff. And I moved, I worked at Disney World for 15 years in Orlando.
What did you do there?
I did stuff I can't tell you.
Did you hit the table like I told you not to?
Oh, did I already do that? I'm sorry. I'll sit on my hands.
Okay, all right,
that's better.
Were you a character?
I started out and I was Dreamfinder's good friend over at Epcot Theater,
Very nice.
Epcot Center, where at the Kodak Imagination Pavilion, and then I began my last 10 years over at the Disney MGM Studios when they opened that up, and I was in the Indiana Jones show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yes, I
love
played
that show.
Indiana Jones.
No, get out of
I played
here.
the fat, bald Indiana Jones. I would say, Marion, go get me a beer.
Well, that's a very athletic thing. You had to roll and tuck and do all that
I was
stuff.
obviously I wasn't one of the stuntmen, but it was a great gig, and I did all kinds of extra things, convention work, the improv-y, like street stuff, and that was really fun. And then I got to a point of, it's a little too corporate for me, and I said to my wife, we need to go. And we had a good friend who had moved up to Trumansburg, and so we followed them kind of and came up here, and we found a home in Dryden, and I didn't really have any work. I had the Sterling Renaissance Festival contract, and that was it. And it's kind of scary, 3 kids, and So we found our home in Dryden, and that was really great. And then a friend of mine said, you should check with Skinny Atlas. They have a Dickens festival. And I called Ted Davenport, may he rest in peace, and he said, I know who you are. No, you don't want to come do this. We don't have any money, blah, blah, blah. And then the next weekend at the Renaissance Fair, people who kind of ran the entertainment part came up to me and said, are you really interested in that? And I was like, sure. I don't have any work. Let me tell you if you can't afford me.
Right, sure.
So I just performed there that year, and my wife also performed there, and they gave us both little, it was a much smaller show, but it was great fun. And then I played a Victorian rat catcher character, so I did the comedy, all the same shtick kind of as the Ren Fair, and the Chamber of Commerce and the head of the Merchants Association came up to me and said, "Will you run this?" And I said, "No, my friend Steve runs it. I'm not going to, Right. And I said, "I can help. I could be the artistic director or something, because I know a lot of talented people in the area." And so they hired it. It was funny because she says, "What should we do? What's the first thing we should do?" And I said, "Raise your budget."
Right.
Because if I could pay a few people, I could populate this.
People
town.
don't understand that, do they?
Right. That is our biggest challenge.
Do you know how most marketing budgets are determined?
How?
By how much money people are willing to invest. I'll use the term loosely, and not, if it doesn't work, they don't hurt themselves.
Right.
They don't look at the return on it, and that's what you did, and you brought that to the table.
Yeah. So anyway, we did it, and that was great. And then the year after that, my buddy Steve Dornan, who actually was he had a little company doing the entertainment, said, my mom's sick and I'm leaving, and do you want you should probably take over. And I was like, I don't want to take your gig. And he said, well, you're either going to work for yourself or you're going to work for someone else. And my wife said, you always said when you were king, things would be different. So I went ahead and accepted the gig.
How long ago was that?
20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
that
imagine?
long? Oh, I thought it was just recent. Okay,
No. It's been my baby for a long time.
Okay, good.
And I will accept the credit for what I've done for that show as far as building it up, but mostly, and this is what any good producer does, I hire competent people and let them do their job, and then I take all the credit.
Right.
That's what I do. See, that's how it works. Awesome. But it has truly, it has truly been a long and joyful trip for me. I mean, it's been wonderful.
How do you raise money now for
Well, the Merchants Association and the Chamber of Commerce and the Skinny Atlas Foundation all raise money, and I just have a contract. I don't have to do a lot of money raising, thank goodness. I just do all the stuff.
Can people contribute if they wanted to?
Well, there's not like a public. I don't think so. But we do have a lot of sponsors, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, buy your next house from Howard Hanna.
Okay,
they are our king top.
Well, that's
king
good. No, you should do that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Skinny Atlas, Dickens, what are they going to find? What are they going to find when they come out to Skinny
All
Atlas?
I can say is you should have been here yesterday. It was so great. But anyone who comes to the festival will enjoy myself. Our newest thing is my good compatriot, Washington Irving, old Knickerbocker himself, is performing a show at 12:30 at the Gazebo called A Sleepy Hollow Christmas. And it's brand new, and I think everyone will love it. I'm doing the Dickens trunk, the Christmas Carol trunk show up in the library at 3. However, all day from noon to 4, there's all kinds of caroling and characters walking around, and I'll meet Mr. Scrooge. I haven't written the story yet, but I'll meet Scrooge, and that gives me the idea. Queen Victoria is there with us. There's horse-drawn carriage. I almost said cabbage rides. That's not right.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, horse-drawn carriage rides. Yeah, horse-drawn carriage rides. All kinds of stuff. And of course, at 2:00 we have our midday revels, which is the big Christmas caroling thing. Mostly there are a million shops, fine, excellent small town shops.
So
it's
every weekend
every
or during the
weekend.
week?
Every weekend. Nope, it's Saturdays and Sundays until Christmas Eve. And we also on December 2nd is what we call Skinny Atlas Sings, and it's lovely from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. The shops stay open late, and we have the Girl Scouts, lighting the Christmas tree at the gazebo, and all that kind of stuff. It's lovely.
You don't have to pay for it, right? People can
it's
just come and enjoy
free, except park where you're supposed to park, or it'll cost you. Or it'll cost you a parking ticket.
Do they do anything different with parking? Like, you
can park down by and there's paid parking there, but it gets busy. You need to pay attention and get there early. But there's parking down Jordan Street or Fennel Street, and you can take the horse-drawn carriage from the parking into town. It's lovely. It's really a lovely old-time Christmas, and it's filled with joy.
I wish you had fun doing it. If you only had fun.
Me too. I know. I'm looking for that joy. 20 years in, I'm looking for the joy.
That's awesome that you do that. We really appreciate it too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I feel like it's important for people to be able to make eye contact.
Do you say any of the lines really quickly?
Marley was dead to begin with. This must be distinctly understood. And we all say things like Happy Christmas. We try to differentiate that we're from 1842.
Right.
And we have Bob Cratchit. I mean, there's Jacob Marley. There's a few iconic characters that you'll see, but there's also the blacksmith. And we're in Skinny Atlas. We're not pretending to be in London. It's Skinny Atlas 1842. It's great.
All right. Well, that's Jim Green right there. Thank you so much. Or Charles Dickens, producer, director of Dickens Christmas right there in Skinny Atlas. Thank you so much, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, guys. God bless us, everyone.
Can't help himself.
There we go. Kevin Frank's coming up next, director of Brady Market and Brady Faith Center, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found it, the fun spot on the radio, on your digital dial, and on YouTube. It's The Local Show with Tom and Steve. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And Steve, right now it's our pleasure to talk with Kevin Frank. He's the director of the Brady Market Brady Faith Center. And you can see more about them at bradymarket.org, bradymarket.org. Is there another website for the Faith Center, or is that all connected?
bradyfaithcenter.org, and we actually have an urban farm, and that's called Brady Market. And you can find us at bradymarket.org.
Okay. Gotcha.
A lot of Brady flying around here.
There's a lot of Brady.
So give us the fill-in. What's it about, and where'd you come from?
Well, I grew up in DeWitt and went to Cornell, and had an experience where faith became really important to me, and started trying to live that out. And one of the things that I found out was that Jesus says, "Follow me," right? Mm-hmm. And the question then is, where did he go?
Yeah, he wasn't lost.
He wasn't lost.
Yeah, that's true.
So where did he go? He always went to places where people were in need, people were struggling. He went to the margins, and so I'm just trying to follow him as faithfully as I can.
Right.
What did you go to Cornell for? What were you taking out there?
Well, I really went to Cornell to play lacrosse, to be honest with you.
Really? That's funny.
That was my original.
So you're not that smart.
I'm not that smart.
Hey, but that's one athletic feat to be able to go to Cornell for lacrosse. You had to be pretty darn good.
Played lacrosse at JD and then at Cornell, and had a great time. Made some great friends. Started out in agricultural engineering. We didn't get along too well, so I had to leave that and ended up in the business school.
Okay. That's wonderful. So you have a little bit of a business background and obviously a big faith background, right?
Yes, that's right.
And so tell us about the Brady Market and how that ties into the Brady Faith Center and what that's all about.
Well, we've been, our main ministry is, just being in the neighborhood, right? Walking the streets and getting to know people.
What neighborhood?
The southwest side.
The old No Jams, just to give it a reference, where people would know where No Jams was.
That's right.
Is where you are. Same building.
We're on the corner of Gifford and West Street.
Okay. And those are some tough streets in terms of socioeconomic, right?
A lot of extreme poverty.
Yes.
We have some of the highest extreme poverty rates in the country. Mm-hmm. We have some of the highest children's poverty rates in the country. Yeah. So a lot of struggling going on. Mm-hmm. And, we listened to neighbors and they were saying, hey, we really need access to healthy food. We need access to employment. And, we need access to community services and support. So we started that under one roof.
Wow. And then are you a minister or are you a pastor or
Yeah, so at heart, I'm a minister.
Okay.
That's really my longing and my heart. I've had to do more kind of market admin work than I've really wanted to do to get this thing right. up and going and to keep it going. But my passion is really ministry.
And you figure you're going to minister to that area and kind of spread the love outward, right? So that people can maybe have a fighting chance, give them hope. Would that be?
Exactly. That's right. That's right. When you live in extreme poverty and you're going without. There's a kid who said to my daughter, she was working our vacation Bible school, and he says, I'm the luckiest kid in my family. And my daughter says, why? And he says, well, my birthday falls in the beginning of the month. And the other kids nod their head like they get it, but she didn't get it. And she says, why does that make you the luckiest kid? Right. He says, my mom gets food stamps in the beginning of the month, so I get to eat on my birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't say a cake, didn't say a party, didn't say a gift,
right.
Didn't say people over. It said, on my birthday, I walk down the hallway, I get cereal and milk. My siblings don't always get that. And that's what it means to live in extreme poverty.
So at the market, because you walk into the market, you're like, holy smokes! It's an amazing store.
Yeah, it's beautiful
with amazing food. If people are on YouTube, Tom, you may not know this, but I've made it a habit to stop there for lunch.
No, I didn't know that.
They have amazing lunches. So if you're on YouTube, you can see this amazing sandwich I'm holding up. If you're not on YouTube, shame on you. Get on YouTube and look at the sandwich. But collard green steak melt. Oh, okay. Look at that! I had chicken. Tom,
right.
So what do you got there,
this is a hot cranberry melt, hot turkey cranberry melt, if anybody can
You know
see
what?
that.
And there's lots of parking there, and we pull in, and we'll get lunch. Now, here's what I find myself doing. I go, wow, look at the meat department. I'm buying fresh cuts of meat, I've been cooking them here and things. It's an amazing full service grocery store with amazing quality.
And do the proceeds go to help the organization? Is that what this is for, or is it for people to actually shop down there?
Well, we want to keep the store open for food access. Yeah. We want to be doing job training. We want to be launching people into a career path. A grocery store is a first job for
Sure. Talk about the career path, because the folks working in cooking there, they know what they're doing.
Right.
I'm like, wow, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
So do you train people to be a cook or a chef, or what goes on there? Talk about that.
Yeah. So we train people in the kitchen area, we train people in the meat area, and we train people in the store area. Mm-hmm. And, what we say is we're a place, train, launch program. And in most businesses, that makes no sense, right? Because you get a good worker and you want to keep them. Right. You want to make sure no one else takes them. But our mission is the opposite. We want to launch people into a career path, whether it's food related or outside that.
So if people like Tom or I or business folks are going around town, so on the west side is it Onondaga? Right there, Onondaga, and what's the corner?
West Street.
West Street. Yeah. That market, go in there and have lunch.
Yeah, it's Gifford and West.
Have lunch. I mean, it supports the ministry.
That's right.
The food is amazing. I just can't. I look and I go, wow, let's go over there. What do they have? And different days have different themes.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And Steve, we cater. So
talk about that.
Yeah. So we have a full catering department. So if you've got a birthday or a graduation or a holiday and you don't want to do all the cooking,
right?
Call us and we'll do all of it or some of it. You can look at our menu at bradymarket.org.
Let's see if this thing is.
You eat that. I was speaking with the folks over at Syracuse Community Health, and they were saying they cater, and they were excited about your catering opportunities.
That's right. Yeah, people who cater with us love us.
Right.
Yeah, it's been great.
No, that's amazing. So where does someone go if they get launched? Where are they getting launched to, and where? How's it work? Someone goes through the program, the center, and then goes where to do what?
Yeah, so it's really across the board, right? So some people are getting launched into other grocery stores. So we have a person right now who's worked up to a manager role, and she's going to be a night manager at another grocery chain.
Okay,
and she's going to get a good pay.
And how did she start? What So bring us through her story a little bit.
Yeah, so she
briefly.
just started, as someone who was stocking and doing inventory and moving product.
But did she come from maybe an underserved family, or was she?
Sure. Yeah, comes right from the community.
Okay.
Right from the neighborhood.
Does someone have to have an addiction or something like that, or do some people coming out of light controlling things like that?
No, we just really want to hire people from the neighborhood.
Okay.
Because if you live outside the city, there's a lot of jobs around you. You live in the city. There's very few jobs. So we say it's a food desert, but it's also an employment desert, right?
Right.
And we don't think about that.
So Tom's been chewing on a Brady Market.
Yeah,
this
is absolutely fantastic.
Wonderful.
What's in there? What are you having?
Well, it's cranberry and turkey, and looks like a little tomato and everything. It's just wonderful.
Steak and collard greens, which I love.
I mean, this is
and
not
cheese.
just
Yeah. You realize they're going to have to cut me out with the jaws of life with green.
Yeah.
No,
and then you'll fire up the gardens come spring, and people get to
so we have a farm. We have a
farm.
5.8 acre urban farm. We have 2 community gardens. We're actually growing year round now at our farm because we have 3 high tunnels, so we can grow inside.
Excellent. Well, that's Kevin Frank, ladies and gentlemen, right there, director of Brady Market and Brady Faith Center, bradymarket.org. Just really quickly, during the holidays and anytime probably, can people give? Can people help support?
Yeah, please. We're serving 180 holiday meals, so please give to us. You can donate at bradymarket.org.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all you do and all your people do, okay?
Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Kevin Frank. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, we're going to talk with David Lewis. He's the owner of Interstate Batteries of Central New York, and he's right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it, and glad you joined us right here on The Local Show. Thank you for spending quality weekend time with us. I know you're probably with a lot of family. Maybe you're all gathered around the radio.
I'm still eating my sandwich from the Brady Market, Tom.
It's wonderful.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, good food over there.
We have become, it's a lot of times on Mondays. I don't know why, on Mondays.
Yes.
And you tend to work remote on Mondays, but on Mondays, we'll go over there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you go over for
like anybody
lunch.
Want to go to the Brady Market for lunch? And they always have different things Mondays, and it's amazing, and it's affordable and it's tasty. So, you can support that ministry over
by
there at
going
the old
over
No
there,
Jams.
yeah.
Go there and buy lunch, but check the store out while you're there. I bought a roast there last week.
Yeah.
And we cooked it up. It was delicious, and it was probably a third less or half the price of what it would have been at one of the big stores.
Right now more than ever.
Now more than ever, right.
Check it out.
Food is good.
Save a little money and support a great cause.
Absolutely.
There you go. Right now, it's our pleasure to talk with David Lewis. David Lewis is the owner of Interstate Batteries of Central New York. How are you doing there, David?
I'm great today. Thanks, guys.
Where did you come from, David? Are you a Syracuse native by any chance? Or?
I am not. I'm a little bit south of here from Norwich, New York.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm from originally.
I spent a little time up in Norwich.
You can't get there from here. There's not a path.
There's
really.
not an easy way, right?
Well, it's easy way if you've been that way.
They still have that cell tower they tried to make look like a tree that still looks like a cell tower made to look like a tree.
I don't know if that's in Norwich.
Yeah, you cut across. If you go down by like Bainbridge, if you cut across the other way.
Oh, okay.
Through the mountains, you see this thing sticking up. You're like, that
interesting.
Stupid.
Where is Norwich near, by the way? Is that like Cooperstown-ish?
No, it's dead center of Shenango County. It's the only, I guess, it's the county seat. for Shenango County. So,
well, you got out.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you go to college for anything particular?
Actually, I did not go to college.
Okay.
I grew up in my dad's business. He was
What
an
did he
interstate
do?
batteries distributor as
No
well.
kidding. Okay, so this is a long time you've been doing this.
So he started when I was 10 years old.
So you were battery college for the last lot of years.
Right.
Yeah, you might say. I think I'm still there, actually.
Well, it changes, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, it is changing a lot these days. Yeah.
So it's a battery company. I don't know that many people think of batteries as being a whole career. It's like how many different varieties of batteries and all that side.
There's lots of different stuff, right?
Yeah.
What Interstate is known for is more, automotive, commercial.
That's what I would think.
Sure, yeah.
You pull in the local service station, right, and having them install a battery for you, and they have an Interstate battery sitting on the shelf.
Yeah,
right?
Tom, there's the calendar right there.
Yeah.
That's Kyle Busch, who is annoying, but they sponsor a car in NASCAR. I mean, this is a real deal.
Interstate. I've always equated. I was kind of a motorhead when I was a kid, and I did a lot of racing, drag racing, up at Esther Drag Strip and everything. So, being a car guy, I always think of Interstate batteries as being the Taj Mahal of batteries.
Well, so I think so. Being I've been around it for a long time, Interstate became the number one battery, and around, I think, don't quote me on this, around 1984.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Die Hard. Was the
remember that Die Hard? That's right.
I probably shouldn't say the competition's name.
No,
in an interview, right? But,
no. Get those at Sears. What's Sears?
So, I think back then we had to get to like 6 or 7 million units a year to top Die Hard,
Right.
and last year Interstate did 19 million batteries.
So why
12 months.
Why Interstate? People go, oh, I need a battery. They go to the Walmart or someplace. And how does
what's the difference?
How does a premium? Great question. How does a premium battery stay in that space? So what's the difference, Tom?
So it's interesting you say that, because us Interstate batteries, we believe that there is a difference. And so you talked about food a minute ago.
Sure.
And we like to maybe compare ourselves to the baker.
Okay.
And so your wife's making a fresh dish of pasta tonight.
That would be me, but go ahead.
Oh, well, your wife's going to stop and get a fresh loaf of Italian bread.
That would be me too.
home.
Okay.
So you're getting but you want a fresh loaf of Italian bread, right? I mean, you don't want that day-old Italian bread with your pasta at night. So batteries, same thing. Obviously, it's not day-old, but it can be over time that battery has been sitting on a shelf. It's sulfating because it's setting in a discharge state. It's not been taken care of and boosted. And so we are the battery guy. That's all we do. We're not selling belts and hoses and starters and alternators and all of those things.
Yes.
We are focused strictly on batteries. And so, we're constantly boosting batteries and making sure they're kept 100% in charge.
Where's your physical place in town?
We're in Eastwood area at 393 North Collingwood Ave.
Where's that near? There's some landmarks.
So Newcourt Ave, between James Street and Newcourt Avenue.
Okay.
In the Newcourt Ave commercial area.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That makes sense. And so people can come and see the variety of batteries you have. Like you said, I've always associated Interstate with car batteries or truck batteries, but you brought in some AAAs and some AA's. I didn't know they made those.
Yeah. So Interstate, a bunch of years ago, they call it Interstate All Battery Center. Mm-hmm. And so I first was an Interstate Batteries distributor, which is the guy you see the truck running up and down the road.
Yeah.
And we're going to the garages and service stations and filling their racks and all of that. And Interstate decided to be a little more diverse. And so they also have what we call an Interstate All Battery franchise. And so I also am a franchisee. And so I can get all the small batteries from alkalines to, a defibrillator battery to, your UPS battery for your backup computer battery.
So when I go to, no offense to Walmart, but I go to Walmart, I'm not believing, Tom, that the person behind the counter knows diddly squat.
Right.
And I go, the battery might, and I used to buy them for your lawnmower.
Yes.
Tom's got my old rider on, right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like the battery would last a year no matter what I did. And I'm like, the battery should last more. And I tried.
You never trickle charged it, or you gotta
no, I
charge
did
it.
actually.
Did you try it?
You know, I tried it, and it just didn't seem. I wasn't getting good advice. I happen to believe I wasn't getting good advice.
Yeah.
Because I'm asking, how should I do this? Well, you can put it on it, and it never seemed to connect. It just never seemed to connect.
Well, so we have a lot of people that walk in our door, and so we like to think of ourselves as the
battery
guy. We're the experts. Right. You know, I was actually trying to think a while back how many years of experience are within my organization, and we're probably around 150 years of battery experience.
That's between Tom and I in advertising, 75 years apiece, right?
At least, yeah.
So, you know, over that time, right, you can imagine that you've run into just about every
scenario
multiple times.
You know, so the lawnmower that, hey, every year I'm changing my lawnmower battery. Well, okay, so where are you getting your lawnmower battery? What are you doing with it?
What should someone do? Let's say they're that right now. They had a lawnmower battery. They're put it away for the winter. What should they do so that thing isn't dead as a doornail come April 1st?
So we recommend battery maintainer or tender. But I would recommend a good quality one. They are not all created equally, just like the batteries are not all created.
Can you help people with that?
Yeah, we can
get an interstate battery.
Interstate battery. We can fix you up with a battery maintainer or tender. We have two brands that we trust very well. Either battery tender brand, which is by Deltran, or by NOCO. Both of those we've had extremely good luck with.
Are you running any particular sales on batteries throughout the holidays, or?
So here's the thing with sales. So we do offer some discounting, but what we are is we're more of a wholesaler really than we are a retail. We do a lot of retail, but our business has really been built on the local garage and service station, marinas, wheelchair outfits, right. People like that have trusted us to supply them with their batteries. And so those people at these garage and service stations, we sell them their product. And so we obviously don't want to necessarily compete with them either. Right. They're important to us.
Right.
Understood. All right. Well, that's good. You're the battery guy right there, David Lewis. If you have any questions, folks, SyracuseBatteries.com, SyracuseBatteries.com, or if you want to go over there and buy in bulk and get ready for the holidays and all those electronic things.
It's all there.
Get it all over there. Thank you so much, David, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Michael Johnson's coming up next, owner of Pro Snow Removal. Just in time for the snowfalls, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, and that means you are too. Thank you for joining Tom and Steve right here on The Local Show. We do appreciate your company. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and then Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. But right now, it's all about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Tell us a little bit about what they do, Steve.
No, you tell me, Tom. What do they do?
Well, they protect your home and life savings. And that's something that Kelly and I have been putting off because we think we don't have enough to protect. Is that the case?
That's funny. I was speaking with John earlier this week. Yeah. And there are some law firms that are like, you need to protect your estate or you're going to lose it to long-term care. And really, it's middle class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if at $15,000 a month in a nursing home, boy, that tears up a middle class estate.
In no time, you're done.
You got a few $100,000 here or there. Yeah. So he was talking about putting your home in a trust. It protects it for the next generation, against long-term care and these things. And it just makes sense. And the other thing he said to me is, if someone is already in a nursing home, people think, if they're in a nursing home, we're going to lose everything. It's not necessarily too late.
Right.
They can save some of that thing. So have a conversation. They are just amazing. John and Marie over there at Safe Harbor Wills and Trust, 370-9977. It's the weekend. Leave a message. They'll get back to you. They're good at that. 370-9977. Or just go to the website, safeharborwillsandtrusts.com, and send them a flare and let them help you out.
Got it. All right. Now it's our pleasure to talk with Michael Johnson once again. He's the owner of Pro Snow Removal. GoProSnow.com is the name of the website, GoProSnow.com. How are you, Michael?
It's a lot colder now, so I'm cold.
Yeah, you're cold.
Well, you got a hat and a hoodie on. If those,
cool.
the YouTube viewers, he's all bundled up. He's got the beard dragging on the ground. He looks like you're ready.
And Michael, you're a relatively young guy, but you're able to have enough testosterone to grow a ZZ Top beard for those people who remember ZZ Top.
Yep, it's just something
You sprouted.
It's a hobby, I guess.
It's a hobby. I love it.
I noticed that yours is nice and brown, where, when I start growing out a little, it's all gray.
Yeah.
You'll get there someday.
I do have a couple grays. I could show them to you later.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I have a couple hairs if I take my head out, but I'm not going to brag.
Yeah, they're both gray, all two of them. So, owner of Pro Snow Removal. So that... it's misleading because when we were talking, you have all sorts of projects going on, hardscape projects and trimming and hedging and making things look pretty and all that. So tell us a little bit about your business. Give us the 411.
So we're a landscape design build company. So we're out there trying to reinvent the wheel and be innovative in your outdoor living space. Everything from your landscaping to your hardscaping surfaces to your drainage, just the outdoors of your home,
Yeah.
And that's why you call it Pro Snow?
That's right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Was that bad, Tom?
Yes, well.
Yeah.
He just wants me to change the name of the company so bad.
No, you know what? It's I hear about the projects. You show me some things. I'm like, look at this
beautiful stuff.
Oh my gosh, these hardscapes and these things, and maybe it's not a change, but maybe there's a side name that explains it, because I think people may be confused because. I was shocked with some of the projects that you've done to explain some of them, so I don't sound totally crazy.
Well, I thought about this because he's always asked about the name of the company.
Yes.
So instead of Pro Snow,
yes,
it's going to be the same spelling. It's just going to be Pros Now. Okay,
yeah.
Like PetSmart or PetSmart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show.
Well,
yeah. So
he's a creative thinker.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, you hit the nail right on the head. When we started doing this, we didn't do bricks and rocks and landscaping and all that. It just kind of evolved into that. Mm-hmm. I always had a full-time job. Running a small business in New York is not an easy task. So I had to burn the candle at both ends, so to speak. So once the company really took off and I went full-time, we had to start thinking about how we were going to, be more creative, be more successful, and what are we going to do the other 7 months of the year when it's not snowing? So that's when this company really evolved and started to flower or blossom, shall we say. And then it just took off from there. So really hardscaping is probably our primary thing. And that involves the landscaping. Really when I come to a person's house and they want me to do one thing, it turns into 10 things, because you can't just put the tire on the rim. You have to blow air in the tire.
Right.
You have to balance the tire. So we look at that whole project and what has to be done for this sidewalk or this patio to go in. The landscaping is going to get destroyed, so that has to be redone or repurposed. Okay, we have to think about the lighting. We want you to be able to enjoy this space after dark. Mm-hmm. Okay, after all, it is a major investment.
Yeah.
And all down to the snow. Do we use a salt-resistant paver, or do we make a heated patio so you don't have to shovel it at all?
So it's a big picture. It isn't just put this here or there.
That's correct.
It's big picture thinking.
Yeah.
You're looking at it holistically, not just, doing a one-off. So tell me a little bit about the plowing. So you're probably all caught up with plowing, like you have all your contracts all done for the season. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you just to do a one-off, could you even do that or no?
No, because when people sign contracts with us for a service, we're guaranteeing them that we're going to be theirs for, the next 200 days.
Yeah.
Okay. If I just pop someone in front of line for a one-off, it takes away from my clients that are paying a regular fee.
Well, that's good to know.
To have us be theirs. I mean, it's really a partnership, the way I look at it. If we had a contract to service your driveway or your parking lot, it's a partnership that hopefully lasts many years. And I have to guarantee that I'm going to be there and I'm going to be able to give you the service that you not only do you need, but that you expect.
Do you start bidding jobs now for the spring?
Yes. Yep. Right now, as far as like the outdoor living spaces, we are gearing up for spring. And this winter's going to fly by because over the next 3 months, we've got tons of designs going out for new patios and new outdoor living spaces. And it really helps us plan these projects. And generally, by May 1st, everything is planned for the entire summer next year.
Wow.
So, I never could just go do a project to do it. I had to have so much thinking and design to go through and play it through my head all winter long so that when we get there, it's a seamless process, like almost like an assembly line. Everything goes smooth, and then the customers are just blown away.
Describe one of your favorite projects last year in the year. What was like you go, oh, we did this and it was able to do this, and things that get you excited?
Well, I guess right now we had a project out in the Cicero Clay area, and it was just a front entry, landscaping, lighting, sidewalk, some natural boulders, and it was a newer development. I think it was a Parade of Homes developed maybe, I think, in 2019 or 2020.
It could be my place.
Pastures?
Pastures? In the pastures? Or?
No, it was you're gonna
another place.
Another place.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's out there, Clay, North Syracuse way. Okay. So we did a sidewalk out there, and it was actually for a really good client of ours, and I just saw a vision in the middle of the project. It wasn't planned. Okay, this doesn't happen all the time, but I always want to try to outdo myself. Well, I ended up doing this crazy inlay design in the sidewalk, and it kind of had like an Aztec look and feel to it.
Nice.
Well, that got submitted to a international competition through Unilock, which is one of our partners for pavers, and just found out this week we won best front sidewalk.
No kidding. That's a big thing. Yeah, that is a big thing.
In U.S. and Canada.
Wow.
So they're actually going to be coming out next week. They've got a big, I actually couldn't go to the ceremony, but we've got a big plaque. We've got one of those big things with our names on it.
Nice.
You know, so it's
And
good
it says
PR.
Pro Snow.
Yeah, Pro Snow.
The coolest thing is
awesome.
no other contractor from the New York or New England or Pennsylvania, Ohio region
Got it.
has won this award.
So if they want to get quotes for the spring, goprosnow.com, right?
Absolutely.
They can go there, right,
Yep.
Tom?
Excellent. Well, Michael, thank you so much. And you be safe over this winter season. And I'm going to be talking to you in the spring. We got some things for you to do.
Sounds fun. Let's do it.
All right, man. Okay, Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show for this weekend. Let's get ready for the Christmas holiday. Get out there. Get your Christmas shopping done. On behalf of the local show and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Get some physical activity today and every day. Eat well and stay focused on healthy living. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. It's more fun that way. Get down to business and keep telling your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, on YouTube under Zoe Advertising, and streaming everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.